Hey there, this is Dr. Aruna with Psychiatry 2.0. Today I have the pleasure of introducing one of our first graduates of the 6-month mental wellness transformation program. So let's see what Sydney has to say about her experience with us. So Sydney, take it away.
I'm Sydney. So I started the program about 6 months ago. When I came in, I was dealing with extreme depression, some substance use with marijuana, which kind of drawed into Dr. Tumola telling me that it was more PTSD.
Yeah, trauma, right? I mean, actually,
lots of trauma.
Yes, you were diagnosed with depression and anxiety, but in reality, remember that letter that you sent me, really talking about where you were and what was
the
going
trauma
on?
from my childhood and
Yes,
past relationships and everything.
So you had an insight about it yourself, but up until that point in time, I don't think the people that you were working with for mental health really kind of pinpointed it, but you had that insight. So which was, I mean, I was really amazed that you knew what was going on and you just needed some direction.
Yeah, I didn't want the medication route. I knew I didn't want that. For years I was taking different antipsychotics. Sertraline is the base, not even antipsychotic, antidepressant that they start you on. I started on that, and then I moved to a different medication. Nothing was working. I was going to therapy, but the therapy wasn't working because, of course, the therapy that they use is drawn to everyone, and therapy shouldn't be drawn to just one person, or not one person, but the group.
Yeah. So you were doing mostly group therapy?
Group therapy. The same, everyone was going through the same things, the same booklet, which was helpful, but not helpful because it didn't pertain to what I needed.
Yeah. Yeah, you were not doing well when you first started. So tell us what is it that we offered you?
Well, first I just want to say that, I mean, compared to when I came in to where I'm at now, I don't even know the person that I was before. Like, I mean, I'm brand new. I can't
And remember one of the things initially, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but this is exactly what we talked about, because the Sydney that came in, if she remained the same, her problems are going to continue to be the same. So you really needed to reinvent yourself. Take a hard look at everything that you were doing. So you're giving me goosebumps because that's exactly, we want to reinvent you, and you've done all the hard work.
Go ahead. My initial fear, I mean, right when I started was, I don't want to change. I don't want to become someone different, and everyone's going to notice now, and everyone's going to think I'm weird or strange for doing this treatment and all these things. And it's like, those are just irrational fears of the past, of the trauma that was built into me, into my subconscious of, it's not going to work. And I just had to break through that. And the massages were the biggest thing. So healing your body first before your mind, starting the diet out, which was probably the biggest challenge. I'm not a big cooker. That was the biggest thing. I was eating fast food, eating out, just on the go. I was in school and studying, so it's like I had the time, but I didn't want to make the time for myself, even for cooking. Yeah. So that was a really weird transition of, like, incorporating fresh veggies, actually cooking for myself, actually understanding what I was putting into my body and how much it actually affects you. I think that's the biggest thing now that I take. One of the biggest things I've taken from this experience is, like, understanding that, like, what I feed myself really reflects back.
Yeah, absolutely. And then and you, I think once you hit that, you overcame that fear and that barrier, and once you committed, you were just go. I mean, you really began to.
I mean, don't get me wrong, there was times where I broke the diet, or I didn't, I incorporated something in, and it was, or what was it? Maybe I had a drink of alcohol or something like that. But the biggest thing through it all was realizing when I was doing those things that I did in the past, how did it make me feel? And
self-awareness.
The biggest thing that you taught is that self-awareness of understanding what is it doing to me now? And if it isn't affecting me, then good. I can kind of maneuver my way around it and understand, like, okay, does it make me feel happy? Does it make me feel sad? And if it makes me feel no different, then good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it was never about me, drawing a box around you and saying, this is how you need to be. No, it's not about that. It is about, yes, education, because there is a way to live our life and make the choices that we make that will enhance our well-being overall, physical and mental. But it is never about coercing anyone, and we should become owners of our decision making, and that's really giving up the victim role, right? And that is what I really want to do, is that educate, create self-awareness, so that people can be empowered to make the choices that sit with them. So it's not about anything else. And thank you for keeping it real. Yes, I don't expect 100% compliance on the diet. But when you have that self-awareness, what it does is that when you are not doing what is good for you, your body will immediately give you the feedback, which you can then incorporate and decide. And it may be that you decide, okay, you know what, I really want to indulge in this one time. And you will have the freedom to do that. But it's really about, it is that feedback loop that is within you that we want to empower.
I think the big thing with that feedback loop is you don't experience it or realize it until you relinquish that control.
Mm-hmm.
Until you actually step into, like, okay, it's no longer about my ego. It's no longer about what I want. It's about what I need. What I need to put into my body. What I need, the mental capacity and the mental, like, work through my brain. What I need to say to myself to bring myself back into that path.
Yes. All of the above. And then here there was something that I wanted to say, and it is actually, the self-feedback loop is one with compassion, right? Not beating yourself up, and look, these are, and
comes with that, but
it comes with that. But no, but the feedback that you give to yourself has to be with compassion. It cannot be any other way. So maybe there's some work left for us to do. We still have one more month to go, so we'll focus on that. But tell us about Panchakarma.
So Panchakarma, wow, I'm like, that happened, yeah. Panchakarma was definitely, so I've never experienced like a cleanse ever in my life. So it was, definitely incorporated that mind-body experience, like just fully feeling how after the massages and like doing the different supplementations and the drinking the different drinks and all those things, it just, I almost like can't even put into words what it did for me, because it's like, it's one of those things you have to experience it for yourself.
Yes, yeah. But well,
to do what it does,
yes,
to see what it does for you.
One metric is to see where you were then and where you are now. So when you first started, you were depressed, you were anxious, you were not sleeping, you had a lot of acne, you had gut issues.
Yes.
Yeah, and you were in relationship difficulties, and you didn't have a job, and you were not passing through your board exams, right? Tell us where you are now.
So yes, she's saying gut issues, toxic relationships. I graduated from nursing school with my bachelor's about 2 years ago, and during that time period, I was having trouble passing my state boards. It took me 4 times. I passed on the 4th try in the middle of my program, which is actually pretty remarkable, because when I first started here, I didn't even have the mental capacity to focus for longer than 2 minutes on something before either getting emotional or just being taken into a different avenue of my anxiety. So it's crazy how just the cleanse and the diet and the being aware changed just how my mind worked, and enabled me to actually end up passing my boards recently. Now I have a job lined up.
Yes.
I just had my acceptance letter today for my registered nurse position. So it's like everything is coming into alignment, and it's from the work I did.
Yes.
And it's not about the work. Like you helped me, but that's the biggest thing.
It's not about me.
Here is it's not about her. It's about us and like what work we put in to get us there. And she's just
cheerleader.
The cheerleader pushing us on to get there.
Oh, I get a lot out of it though, Sydney. I mean, you can see, I mean, you know, the satisfaction that and you are the second person to last week, another patient of mine, again, long illness, unemployed, not doing well, and that person also just got a job, and he's starting as of Monday, May 8th. He's starting a full-time position, in line with his education and his intelligence. So it's very, very gratifying to see, people thrive. So thank you so much for sharing your journey, and yes, you don't need medications. You just need diet and detoxification and psychotherapy to address the trauma. And how much did we talk about your childhood?
Honestly, it was probably 2 sessions maybe, but it was very brief because I had written a story. I kind of wrote out my story. That was one of the things you recommended, was me to write out my trauma story, which was very difficult. But once I wrote that out, I released all of that.
Yes,
so we had briefly kind of gone over some of my childhood things, but that honestly wasn't really the forefront of anything.
No, because that is in the past. And the fact is, yes, you were traumatized. You experienced circumstances that children should not be experiencing, and that did impact you. It branded you emotionally. But if you keep on dragging that to the present, then we are self-victimizing and re-traumatizing ourselves, and we get caught in that. It's almost like a time travel loop that we are constantly in that loop, going back and not able to break the shackles. Yes, yeah. But my approach in these things, yes, I mean, I do want people to express and, really to release that. But with everything that we do, whether it is the psychotherapy or the somatic work that we do with the massages and the craniosacral therapy, our intention is to keep the blocked energy and all those blocked emotions moving, where you face it, you feel it, and you free it. Right? Those are
the craniosacral. That's probably my favorite. My favorite massage. Sonia is amazing.
Yes, Sonia is amazing.
That's our massage therapist.
Yes.
Or their massage therapist. Yes, she is a healer at its finest. For
yes,
sure.
Yes, and and everyone that works here, we have drawn the right people. I would say I'm really blessed in that regard. Well, thank you so much. Any parting words to anybody that is contemplating being on this program?
All it takes is one step. All it takes is that initial, you think you need to be somewhere else, or that there is a greener grass. That just takes that first step of realizing you just need to relinquish that control.
Well said. Thank you.